Cam, I've got another friend of the show, David Waters from Gators Breakdown. Don't cringe, Gators Breakdown. He was on the other night, and he referred to his school as DBU. Do you ever respond to that?
Like, I mean, that's whatever. I mean, I'm not. Florida signed like 22 defensive backs in the 2017 class. They beat us for a couple of guys who were, whatever that Miami wanted. But hey, it is what it is.
Well, when I hear DBU or I hear anybody say they're quarterback U, linebacker U, whatever, I'm thinking this means in a substantial time frame, either all time or over the last 15 or 20 years or during my lifetime, we have been wide receiver U or whatever it be. I would think that you've got quite a claim for that.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Just look at the guys who are in the NFL. Look at the guys who are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Sean Taylor was going to be arguably the best safety in the history of the sport and unfortunately lost his life at a young age. You have Ed Reed, who is now coaching, and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You have Philip Buchanan, who was a first-round draft pick. You have Mike Rumpf, who's now coaching at Miami, who was a first-round draft pick. You have all kinds of guys. You have Sam Shields, who was not even a cornerback in college, transition. He had a $40 million contract 2 years ago from Green Bay. Unfortunately, he's had some injury and concussion issues and just got cut, but he's going to get on with another team. If you look in the NFL now, we still have guys playing defensive back. We have Darius Gunner, who was up there in Green Bay, and he stepped in, and yeah, he got roasted by Julio Jones, but like, who's not going to get roasted? He's 6'5", 215 pounds, and runs a 4.3. Like, there's not, like, you can't point to a DB in the league who's going to lock down Julio Jones. And yeah, Ladarius Gunner, he got flambéed. It happens. But you know who didn't? Somebody else, because Ladarius Gunner was out there, and Ladarius Gunner was starting in the playoffs, and Ladarius Gunner was playing. So, there's something to be said for that. And you look around, and you just keep looking at guys that we're putting in the league now. Cornelder is going to be a second-round draft pick. Rayshawn Jenkins is going to be a 4th or 5th-round draft pick, and somebody's going to get a steal. Jamal Carter is going to be a draft pick, and he might even move down to safety or down to linebacker, and I think that might even be better for him. But we have guys across, and you look back even in the history of the sport, and there's just guys from the University of Miami at defensive back, and the proof is in the pudding, and the record speaks for itself. So I know that other teams want to say, Miami's irrelevant because we have not been good recently. I know that everybody wants to say that they're insert position here, you, and everything like that. If you look at running backs, Frank Gore has the most carries, the most seasons with 280 carries or more in NFL history. He's a top 10 running back in terms of yardage in the history of the league. He has 2 ACL tears in college. He came back from that. He did all these kind of things. You have Clinton Portis. You have, just all kinds of guys at every single position. So, if they want to say that and be wrong that they're DBU or they're wide receiver U or whatever, they can say that. But if you go and you look up college production, you look up NFL production, you look up Hall of Famers, you look up at legendary guys, you look at your NFL team and think of your favorite players at any position, and you're not going to get too far without seeing a Miami Hurricane. So, everybody can say that and they can be wrong. So we're just going to be out here, we're going to grind, we're going to win games, and we'll be all right.
Man, you hesitated at the beginning, and then I got you going, and you did get going there. That's what I was expecting. What I did, Cam, was I went online. I did a little bit of research, and don't be too impressed by these numbers. I didn't spend hours compiling these numbers. I found a site that did this for me. So I don't know the exact order, but between Texas, Ohio State, Miami, Florida, and somebody else was in the mix, they by far and away had 500 to 700 defensive backs. Or they had some kind of rating system. Anyway, so the numbers in regards to putting defensive backs into the league, those 4 or 5 were very close. And the distinction that Miami had was Pro Bowls. They had by far and away the most defensive backs who had appeared in the Pro Bowl over the course of NFL history. And as you well know better than I do, but I know that Miami football was nothing close to what it is now and has been pre-1980. So there's a lot of catching up to do that the U has done over the past 35 years.
Yeah, and that's just the fact of the matter. Like, okay, cool, yeah. Some teams have put more numbers of defensive backs in the league for whatever amount of time. Cool, that's fine. We have more Pro Bowlers than anybody. We have more Hall of Famers because you have some that are still coming up. that are going to hit that, like Ray Lewis. He didn't play secondary. He played linebacker. I know that, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. You have Ed Reed, who's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He was the first player ever to have a 108-yard play with that interception return in the playoffs. In the league. So you have legends of the game from our secondary. So are you talking about a Keywan Ratliff from Florida? Nice little player, played in the league for a little bit. Are you taking him over a Sean Taylor? Are you taking him over a Ed Reed? Are you taking him over, even some of these other guys? Maybe if you're a Gator fan, but probably not. And I know that it took me a while to get going because I was trying not to let that out today. I was trying just to, stick to our breakdowns and things like that. And you tricked me. You didn't tell me about this and you got me going. But, it's just I get that every team has pride in their school and all these kind of things. They want to say that they're the best and everything like that. But objectively, if you look at all the records, you look at all the stats, you look at all the numbers available, there's one school that's going to be to the top, and it's this U. Period.
Wait, this is across the board, every position? You can't make that statement, Cam.
I mean,
we don't know that. We would really have to crunch numbers.
Okay, well, maybe not across the board at every position. I'll give you that, but definitely a defensive back. And at most positions, you're going to find maybe a couple of teams, maybe a team, maybe two with more than Miami.
Okay, I'm going to give you a top 5 status in just about every position without thinking about it. I don't think that's a stretch.
Right.
Beyond that, I don't know who's in the top position or whatever, and you would have to come up with an exhaustive criteria because, like you say, there's a difference between there would be one criteria would just be putting players in the league, but there's a complete difference in putting an NFL player in the league versus a guy that sticks around for 2 years and then he's out of the league. Those could not be equated the same. They're completely different situations. So there would have to be a number of criteria, but Miami's obviously right up there in most positions, if not every position. So interesting conversation. Wanted to get your take on that. I got a number of comments in, and that caused me to do a little bit of research and at least come up with some numbers and see that, that Miami's done a lot of catching up throughout the history of college football and has done a great job of coming back to be a top 5 defensive back school, if not number 1, if you look at the quality with just what has happened since 1980 mostly. All right, Cam Underwood, State of the U, breaking down defensive backs, cornerbacks, and safeties. And Cam, we always appreciate it.
No problem. Always fun to be here. So have a good. Well, be sure you check us out on stateoftheu.com. But otherwise, we have all of your Hurricanes needs: baseball, basketball, football, even in the off season. So be sure you keep messing with us, and we'll see you soon.